So, welcome to our third webinar.
And what a host we have today.
Yeah, so like I wrote to you guys, we have today Simon Bailey on our call, and he's here with us already. You can see that hairy guy sitting there. Simon. So you're checking in from, yeah, there you are. So you're checking in from Australia, right? So where are you?
Yeah, so I'm in Canberra, in Australia, which is sort of inland from Sydney. That's actually the capital of Australia, which not many people know. But
the capital, you got that.
Actually,
yeah,
that's true, because my opinion was Sydney, but no.
Yeah,
no, we learned that.
Most people think it's Sydney, but it's actually the old Canberra inland here.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, so basically the reason why we have wanting to invite Simon on the call today is because we want to speak a little bit about.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, you're good. You just froze for a bit, but you're good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, yeah.
Sadly, I couldn't hear him, by the way.
Yeah, no,
it's
better.
Okay.
Yes.
So basically, yeah, to invite Simon in, just to basically show that we are not alone in this in this game, right? And basically share a little bit. We want to hear about your story and about what you have learned throughout your journey, and share a little bit about your fears and your story, basically. So we can learn a bit from you, and as well show to our members and leads that you don't have to be super successful in money-wise, but that there is a whole other thing around this business that you're learning throughout the journey. So basically, can you just maybe start by sharing how you came into SFM, how long time you've been here, and how you came across it?
Yeah, sure. So I signed up to SFM would have been middle of last year. So I think it was July last year. So about 9 months now I've been in. So I was just on YouTube, just hanging out. I'd been sort of looking for a new job, looking for a change of career, but was certainly not looking to start my own business or anything like that. Was just looking for a change from a stressful, crappy job that I didn't really like, and I'd changed jobs a lot before, so I was looking for something different. But like I said, nothing like what I found. Just saw an ad for SFM and thought, sounded like it had potential, Definitely initially wasn't convinced that it wasn't a scam or I was definitely skeptical. I think because, it all sounded a bit too good to be true. It was sort of like this idea that it could solve so many problems in my life, so many different things that I've been struggling with for a long time. And it was sort of like, how can there be this, this one solution to all these things? So I'd always struggled with, a traditional work sort of situation where just never really felt like I was living to my full potential. Like I was always good at my job, and I was reasonably well paid. And I often say, from the outside looking in, people sort of thought I had the perfect job, had the perfect lifestyle. Why did I go and throw it all away, so to speak? But I just never really felt. I don't like using the word fulfilled, but that was basically what it was. I just never quite felt like I was satisfied.
Wasn't enough for you, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. So definitely this idea that I could travel, could spend more time with my family, could still earn a decent income and potentially more, and have all these things in life that I wanted, and to be able to build something that I could be proud of, that was built around my life and my lifestyle and my passions and my interests. It just seemed like, how can that even be possible to do that? But it turns out it is. It's just not many people know about it, and it's not. There's just not that many people that are willing to take a bit of a punt on themselves, back themselves, and take that step. Is I think, because I think that's a big question you get asked, right? Is if it's so awesome and so amazing, why isn't everyone doing it? And I guess it's just that it's just that you just got to, not everyone's willing to back themselves and take a step outside of that comfort zone and try and push forward a bit and create something new for themselves. And that's all it really takes. And to continue to back yourself. If you keep backing yourself and you don't quit, there's amazing things you can achieve.
Actually, it's so funny that you were talking about this thing. Why isn't more people doing this? Because that was actually exactly some of the like questions and thinking that we were having in our brain at that point. And even like after probably around half a year even into it, we still like were thinking, okay, let's hide this, because if we give it out to too many people, then there won't be any business, like there won't be anything for us, you know. We were kind of like scared about doing it, and then once we found out all the potential, we were actually scared about sharing it, because we were like, we need it for us. Which is such a self-limiting belief, right?
Absolutely.
But this is true. This is, I mean, just now when you're saying it out loud, it's just, I can just so resonate to that feeling when we started out, right?
Yes. Simon, just share with us actually about your let's say personal shift that you had with SFM, if there was a time where you felt that this is it, I'm gonna do it, like no matter what.
Did you have like a moment?
Did you have like a moment, an epiphany that came out into your experience?
Yeah, I guess initially it sort of happened gradually. When I first sort of came across it, and I went in for I started off with the $29.95, sort of introductory sign up to have a look. And I remember having the conversation with my wife, and I said, I found this online business thing, and it looks pretty interesting. I'm not 100% convinced that it's legitimate yet, but it's only $30, right? I'll just throw $30 at this thing and see a bit more about it and find out a bit more. And then once I got in and sort of had a look at some of the training and started to get a bit better of an idea of what it was, and it started to feel obviously a lot more real, but I still had my hesitations. And then, but it had enough there that I said to my wife, then we had another chat a week or so later, and I said, this thing's, I think it's actually really got some potential. So let's throw another couple $100 at it and, sign up as a full member and just see where it goes. Like, again, at worst, we lose a few $100, but, see what happens. And that was sort of the shift then, because obviously once you then go member, you get the full access to the SFM community. You start to meet people that are doing the same thing, and you start to realize how many people are out there doing this and are successful and are making it happen, and on all different levels, but people from all different backgrounds, different countries. This thing's global. And it suddenly, once I reached that level, it was like, all right, this is definitely real. And then the next question is, can I do it? Right. So once you realize it's real and it's possible, then it's the mindset shift around, can I achieve this? Can I do it? And to get that shift for me was one of my mentors, Dan. I was having a chat to him and, talking to him about this limiting belief that I had about, is this actually going to be possible for me? And had a really good chat with Dan. And by the end of it, we basically, he came to the conclusion with me that if you don't quit, if you know that you will not quit, that you will keep pushing ahead through no matter what, through all the hurdles, the ups and downs, and enjoy the good times as well, then success is inevitable. It might come, it might be a matter of months, it might be a matter of years, but if you're willing to put in the work and back yourself and not give up, that success is inevitable. And after that conversation is actually when I then invested more money and leveled up even further. But it was basically a matter of then, well, if I'm not going to quit, I might as well go all in, right? I might as well back myself and put my money where my mouth is, and really go at this thing 100%. And as we know from talking on the Gold Coast, we haven't looked back from there. So it's definitely not something that I think for me just happened. Like, it wasn't like I could click my fingers and go, all right, it's going to happen. It happens gradually, but it's just a matter of taking those baby steps and just keep pushing your boundaries little bit by little bit. We're not able to just go from our comfort zone right down and jump in the deep end, because you won't be able to swim, right? You've got to go there gradually, keep pushing further and further outside your comfort zone, and you know, who knows where you'll be able to push yourself.
Cool. Awesome.
I love that. Yeah.
Yes. And how do you see now yourself look like? How you looking back? What is your emotion? Like what is your best advice you would give to yourself 9 months ago?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, my wife and I talk about this a lot, and you know, you find yourself doing things like even just being on a webinar, you know, like this sort of thing. I remember how terrifying that was when I first signed up. Just this idea of, you know, being on camera and being live, talking in front of other people. And now, as you guys know, we do this sort of stuff pretty regularly, and it becomes very natural and as normal as talking to someone face to face. But I often find myself, having these discussions where you're like, can you imagine telling Simon of 12 months ago that I'd be sitting here talking on a webinar about online business and mindset shifts and how to get out of your comfort zone, and, you know, all these experiences that we've had up until this point. And, you know, I'll be honest, the number one reason I came into this thing was to make money, right? That's money was everything. But the further into it you get, you just realize how much value is here, far beyond, sure, income, earning an income's part of it, but you learn so much that's so far beyond any of that, you know, is something that I'd never expected to get out of it. If I'd known what I was going to get out of it at the start, I would have gone all in right at the beginning, you know, like there's no, like, knowing what you know now and having experienced and seen what you've seen now.
I think this is a human thing. Like, before we jump all in into something, past experience affect us in taking the next step properly. And like, we really put one foot at a time, check if it's everything all right, and then go in it. And then again, check if it's everything all right and jump on it again. So you were very right about step by step, lean in slowly. It was absolutely like the same approach we had with SFM, slowly, until I asked myself the question, is that if really this is, which was actually pretty similar to what you say, if this really was, if money wasn't the case and you would succeed no matter what, because you know that you will do this regardless, then it's all about, you will
do whatever it takes, all the steps,
all the requirements. And it was always something that I've been searching for a long time, something that I could do with my laptop anywhere in the world. And I finally find the answer, and it took me some time to realize that, okay, let's go all in, no matter what. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna make it. So this was really...
But I really like what you just shared before, that Dan said to you, this thing that if you're doing everything that it takes, then success is inevitable. So like, this is really true, I mean, in a sense, right? Because you're always thinking, can I do it? Can I be successful? You're thinking, oh my God, I have to be like Stuart or whatever, you know, I have to be so confident on camera, and you feel like you're not, and you're thinking, oh my God, what have I got myself into? But actually you find out you don't have to be like him, you have to be like yourself, right? And the more you actually dig into yourself, the more you will come out. And the more you will be able to give value to others, right? Which is basically what we are trying to do.
That's right. And that's why the personal growth part of it is so important, right? And the personal development part of it. And when I first started with it, I'm like, why am I learning about all this sort of stuff? Like, why are they trying to teach me how to change how I do my morning routine when I wake up in the morning? Like, how is that relevant? You know, I just want to learn how to build a business to make money. But you know, in hindsight now, you realize why that is, because to be able to develop and to bring a good business to the world, you have to be, you know, confident in yourself, and you have to be understanding of yourself. You have to be aware, and you have to take care of yourself. You have to nurture yourself to be able to nurture a good business. If you're not in a good place, or if you're not developing yourself, then there's no way you can develop a successful business. So you got to do a bit of both. And I remember there was a point I reached, and I turned and I said to Liz, my wife, I said, you know, I actually reached a point in this where I said, you know, even from this point on, if there was no chance of making $1, if there was no income in this at all, I would have paid the money I've paid just for the personal development and the personal growth I've had. Like, if this ended today, and it was just like, you know what, this is over, something for whatever reason, just from what I've learned so far, I've gotten value already. Just to know that I've got the confidence and in my own ability and my own self to be able to go and start something else. I wouldn't go back to a 9-to-5 job. There's no way I could go back to that now. knowing what
actually it's true. There's so many people that they feel like once they know what they can become, there's no way that they even think that they could come back to a 9-to-5. It's not even coming into their brain briefly. Like
start opening your eyes for the
you just start to open up and see what this actually you can be capable and the opportunity you have in the world, in the online business. So
maybe Simon, while we are at this subject, maybe you can talk a little bit about which personal shifts that you have actually done throughout these 9 months that you've been in SFM. Like, what have they consisted of? You talked briefly about a morning routine. Like, what else have you been working on the personal side of your development?
Yeah, I guess it's just a total mindset shift, isn't it? Of just not only what's possible, but what's possible for you. And what, like I sort of touched on before, I always had this sort of sense like I had more to offer, or you guys got me still?
Yeah.
Yes.
Got you.
Yeah. Yeah, like I had more to offer, or I had more potential, and I just couldn't deliver that through a 9-to-5 job. But I was never able to explore that on my own. I sort of needed something like SFM where it really helps you to understand what your potential is, understand not only what it is, but how to use it to help other people, to help build a business, to actually put your finger on it and identify it. I think a lot of people would be able to relate that, you feel like you've got a lot to give, but you're not quite sure which direction to go or how to really, have an impact with that potential that you've got inside you. So I think the biggest for me is, and the reason I could never go back to a 9-to-5 job is it's like once I have this analogy. It's like open the fridge. Yeah, it's like open the fridge and there's a chocolate cake sitting in there. And you're like, oh, I shouldn't eat the chocolate cake. Shut the door. And then you go and try and make some toast or something. But you can't stop thinking about the chocolate cake, right? Once you know the chocolate cake's there, all you can think about is eating the chocolate cake. So at some point, it might be, in the next 5 minutes, it might be in an hour, but eventually you're going to have to go back to the chocolate cake. You can't just go on eating toast and forget about this chocolate cake.
Oh, that's so it's like awesome.
Once you've seen it, once you've experienced it, you can't just walk away from that and close the door on it and forget about it, right? It's like, once your eyes have been open, you can't close them again. So, I mean, if I ever found myself in a traditional job again, it would be very temporary, because it would only be as a means to an end to get me to my next business opportunity. But
like a stepping stone,
I mean, my personal growth has been, it's been a mixture of that, of opening your eyes and a wider perspective, and just paying more attention to the way that I treat myself physically and mentally. Being kind to yourself and being understanding that, and just this realization that everything that you're feeling, everything you're experiencing, there's heaps of other people in this world that are experiencing the exact same things. You often feel like you're alone in your feelings, and you feel like you're the only person that feels this way, and you feel a bit, abnormal. But how many people have you met in this community and on this journey that have the exact same problems as you, the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same hurdles, the same limitations, everything, right? And so many people that you can relate to that you just wouldn't find in the outside world, in the traditional world. We're having conversations that you would never have. We're finding out things about other people that we would never find out. These are conversations we just don't have anywhere else. So I think that brings a lot of self-assurance, right? That you're okay, you're a good person, and you just gotta keep looking after yourself, and everything's going to work out just fine.
Awesome, Simon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. Can I before I want to ask you a question before the most important question that I think you have a much more experience into that, simply is how you manage your time with your family and kids. But before to go into that, I would like to ask you, you have been into SFM live event if you can say one thing, anything that will be a suggestion or something that you can give to anyone that are in doubt and if they would like to go into a live event or not, what that would be.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I've got a few perspectives on this. So I was in SFM for about 6 months before I went to my first live event. And before I went to it, I heard a lot of people say, you know, if there's an event, you just got to do everything you can to get there, do whatever it takes to get there because it changes everything. And you sort of, but they can't tell you any more than that, right? It's like, well, how does it change everything? Like, you can't really explain it in words. You just got to get there. You just got to be there. And so I've always had that in the back of my mind. And then I was lucky enough that they had events in Australia this year when I met you guys in February on the Gold Coast. And I mean, they're exactly right. It changes everything. But what it probably changed the most for me, I mean, it's really hard. A lot happened in that week, and we, you know, so many things changed. And the biggest thing is the people you meet, right? Like the connections that you make and the people that you meet. But probably the biggest takeaway from me is, you know, even after 6 months of being here and, you know, investing in myself and the business and everything and starting to grow this business, it never felt more real than being in those rooms with those people that are, you know, building their own businesses and on their own journeys and being able to share ideas with them. Yeah, mate, it's like, take me back, honestly, take me back. But,
Yes.
Yeah, I think just, you know, it can be a little bit lonely sometimes being a solopreneur, as we call it, or, you know, doing this journey. Even you guys are lucky enough to do it as a couple, and I'm lucky enough to have my wife as support. But it still can, even if we get on all these webinars and everything, there are times where you can feel a bit alone. But yeah, get to an event and you'll realize that the support and the people around you are just incredible and are willing to just drop everything to help whoever they can. It's just an incredible group of people to be around. So
yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to actually just mention what you said just before we started our call. Like you were saying that yesterday or the day before you had a call with one of the other members, which you met at the Gold Coast, and he just actually did last week. He rounded his first six figures, right, in the business. And you said how you just congratulated him, and he was like, "Mate, if there's anything I can do, just text me." And you had a half an hour call, like, for free. You don't pay him, he don't get anything out of it, and he's just ready there to help you. And just, you were sharing this with us just before, saying that how incredible is that you meet so many people who where you're thinking they could use their time to spend with other people or to do something that they like, but actually they are really taking their time to help you in your business and to move your business further. And how amazing is that, right? Like, this is the type of culture that, and this type of people that you really find inside this community.
Yeah, I think because it's quite unique, right? Like, there's in so many other areas of this world and our lives, it's cutthroat and everyone's trying to better themselves at the expense of people around them. It's very rare to have anyone that's willing to give the people around them a leg up, even if it means that they end up further in front than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's almost like we're playing a team sport, a big team sport, and no one succeeds unless we all succeed, right? So it's picking each other up and helping each other, whether they're in front of you, behind you, wherever they are. It's just reaching out and helping. And I think when you first start and you first get to experience the community, you quickly get an idea that, you know, everyone's willing to help, and you can ask questions and people are happy to answer them. But I was saying to you guys before the call, like, being here for 9 months now, and I'm still blown away, you know, on a regular basis with the generosity and the selflessness with which people help you. And exactly like you're talking about my call yesterday, and, you know, this guy's running what is now a 6-figure business, and I'm thinking, surely this guy's got better things to do than be jumping on a call with me and helping me along on my journey. But he wouldn't rather be doing anything else. And he said that's actually the thing that he's getting most out of his experience in his business now, is that, you know, from his perspective, he can help more people to do the same. And it's just, and that's 100% genuine. So it's definitely one of the most special parts and one of the most valuable parts of the whole the whole business journey, doing it through this community and doing it the way we're doing it. And I mean, I personally wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. I don't think. Like I don't know that I would have the perseverance to be able to figure out everything for myself without having that support and having those people to lean on. So
yeah, surely.
Copy that 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
This mentoring thing, like this, the support and mentoring that SFM has is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
And already the fact that anytime we can book a call, at least on marketing mastery level, we have our own coach that we can reach out.
Or elite even. You get coaches at elite.
Yeah.
We can reach out anytime, half an hour, as much as we like to.
But also the fact that actually Simon just shared now, the guy you had a call with wasn't even one of the mentors. Exactly. It was just one of the other guys in the community. Yeah. So even if you don't have access, like if you're an essential member, there's definitely still guys who want to help out. So it's just about let's say kind of putting out the line. How do you say that basically you say I need help with this and this and this, and somebody will help you, right?
Yeah, and I mean, your members, for example, have got you guys as well. Like, there's you guys have been around long enough now, and you've been to your own live events, and you've built connections, and there's people that you know, and you know what their strengths and weaknesses are. So, I mean, if your members or your apps or even your leads are struggling with anything that they're trying to get their head around or got questions, I mean, if you guys don't have the answer, you know who to ask, right? Like you can help them find help as well. So as well as the coaches, and I mean even at essential level, you know, you've got your system consultants and that as well. They're always got help.
Exactly.
And the chat box in the dashboard. There's always heaps of There's never somewhere that you can't reach out and get a question answered.
And, correct.
Yeah. Correct. There's nothing you have to figure out for yourself if you're struggling with something. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, Simon. So one last question, if you don't mind. How actually are you managing your time when you actually have a family and a business to run on your own? What is the best advice you can give? Because we are not yet at this position to share it. So please share with us what is your best advice that you can give to any other parents in this same journey situation.
Yeah, so I've got two young boys. I got Harrison's just turned 4 and James is about 20 months. So two little boys who are obviously very time consuming, but worth every minute. And it's definitely trying to build a business with two young kids has definitely been a challenge, but it's certainly it's achievable, more than achievable. But it's also my why as well, right? It's why I'm here and why I'm doing this is for those two boys. So at the same time as it poses a challenge, it's also they're there as a reminder of why you're doing this every day. You're there in front of you. So
beautiful.
Yeah, I guess that offsets it. But it's taken a little while to sort of work out. You got to sort of work out what the balance has got to be for your family. Everyone's family situation is different depending on, you know, whether you're single or whether you've got a spouse and what their situation is and the age of your kids and things like that. But I think overall it's the biggest change that I made that had the biggest impact on the harmony in our family and in our balance is really separating your time very, very clearly between when you're spending time with your family and when you're hanging out with the kids and when you're working on the business. As soon as I tried to do the two at the same time, I don't do either well, right? If I'm trying to, you know, be with the kids and hang out with them and trying to sort of be on my phone or on the computer in the background, I'm not productive in what I'm doing, and I don't absorb the information I'm trying to absorb if I'm learning, and I'm not being the best dad I can be for the kids. So my biggest bit of advice would definitely sit down with your sort of roughly weekly schedule, I guess is how I did it. Look at what things you can't change and what aren't flexible, school hours or work hours or things like that you know you have to work around. Look at what spare time you do have, and then allocate that time, how much you're going to spend with your family, whether it's, you spend the time with the kids in the afternoon, and then after they're in bed, you work on the business, or whether you get up early in the morning to work on it, or whatever works best for you. But I think, really setting it out very clearly. I've even laid it out as a weekly planner and laminated it and stuck it to the fridge so that, we're all reminded of it, of when I'm working on the business and when I'm with the kids. But that definitely made me able to turn up for the kids better and work on the business better and be more productive. So
that's awesome advice. Really, really great. So how many hours then do you have for your business now?
So I've got more. Luckily, as I've gone along, I've allocated more and more. So I've actually got the kids being looked after a couple of days a week now, as the business is growing and my time commitment to it is growing. But at the moment, I still only spend those 2 days a week full time on the business, and then I do a couple of hours during the week in the evenings, as it sort of works out with our family. But it ends up being around 15 hours a week I put into the business. And that's pretty decent. It's definitely possible to build the business on that amount of time. You guys have obviously got a bit more time to put into it, and
lately
now with this coronavirus actually give us a lot of time, and we take it actually advantage that we can do more, achieve more, and be planning much more. But when we were starting, until everything was fine, which was until January, I think, we were actually dedicated. I have checked about 15 to 17 hours a week.
About 2 hours every evening.
And about 2 hours every evening, but we were able to divide them. Like, for example, one day we were able to do 6 hours, and one day nothing, and then one day 2 hours, and so every week was different for us as a schedule. So every week we have to adapt how to move. So we were very, very keen on having those 15 hours at least to keep progressing and moving slowly, which is actually became not very slow, but became quite on an average speed. It was not wow, but it was okay actually.
I mean, like you say, it's definitely enough in order to make it work and to start up your business and to get results already and stuff. And then with time, you will find out what is your schedule and what fits in. But like you say, the most important is that you actually create the schedule, right? So that you do. I think it's great advice, this thing about not trying to do business and taking care of your kids at the same time, but that you actually divide the time so that you can be the best dad for your kids and they are satisfied as well and feeling happy. And as well, when you're doing your business, then you're focusing on your business and your wife is taking care of the kids at the same time, or maybe it's while they're sleeping or whatever, so that you really make sure to create that schedule. For us, the same thing. We obviously don't have kids, but we can't practice and do our business at the same time. So it's also about settling it in, and then accept that that's the amount of time that you have, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when I first started out, when I was working my way through the modules, and it was a lot of the learning phase, it was way less than that. I was probably only doing maybe 5 to 8 hours a week back then. So I mean, it's definitely, you don't have to set out to be doing 15 or 20 hours a week from the get-go. Oh, no. It's definitely possible. Like, you'll make really decent progress if you're putting in, an hour a night or something like that, and just working your way through the modules. And you can continue to build your business at that pace. You just have to accept that obviously it's going to take longer. So, it's one of the great things about it, right? Is that it's flexible, that you can build it around whatever your lifestyle is and your current lifestyle, or if you want to change your lifestyle to suit it even more, you can do that as well.
Absolutely.
So
the choice of being you build it as a part-time, and then potentially you could choose, if you wanted to become full-time job, you build on it slowly until it become a full-time job. But there is a personal choice. Then at least you have a choice, the freedom to choose if you want to continue to have it at part-time and you're perfectly fine, or you want to really scale the business and go full-time and then slowly quit your job and go into your dream lifestyle.
And you just take time as you can get it, right? Like, so at the moment, my wife's on holidays for the next 2 weeks. So rather than only doing 15 hours a week for the next 2 weeks, I might be able to do 30 hours a week or more on the business. You know, and you can just, you can literally just crank it up as you need to, or as you're able to.
Exactly.
Just put more into it. There's always more you can be doing, but you can't be overwhelmed by that. You've just got to take the steps that, you know, as they come. And and that'll just give me a little boost now. I'll get 2 weeks where I get to, you know, put a bit more in, and that'll give the business a little boost as I'm able to invest a bit more time. And then when she goes back to work, you know, I can scale it back again. So I think that's the real beauty of it. And you know, if there's, don't get me wrong, there's nights where I, you know, once I put the kids to bed, I'm absolutely knackered and can't even contemplate opening the laptop and doing something. So you just got to, you know, give yourself the time to just go, okay, maybe tonight's not the night. Like, don't push yourself beyond your limits. But on the flip side of that, you know, there is a time to push yourself a bit as well. And the whole point of doing this is to push outside your comfort zones. And sometimes you just got to go, you know what, this is my goal. This is what I want to achieve. So I'm going to have to make some sacrifices to do that. But yeah, it's all about balance. Balance and harmony is the number one with the whole thing. And work out what works for you. Trial and error, you know. I haven't had it perfect from the start, but I'm getting there now where, you know, the last few months have really just, it's been bliss, mate. It's been awesome. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, this is for the people watching the call. Obviously you maybe haven't seen Simon before now, but I can tell you that when we met Simon in the Gold Coast, he was a pretty different person than what he is now, in the sense that you're just opening up, sharing, and really being vulnerable, and really stepping up the game, for sure, definitely. So that's awesome to see. It's really great to see your improvement and your development, like you say, on the personal side especially, right? And then the beautiful thing is the business side will follow that.
Yeah, and that's exactly the goal. And I mean, for me particularly, I worked, you know, over a decade in construction, on construction sites. I was you know, what people in Australia would call a blokey bloke. You know,
okay. I don't know what that means, but that's fine.
So it's like a manly man, or a very masculine, I guess, sort of approach to life, where, you know, there's no, you don't really talk about your feelings, or, you know, it's very exactly, and quite rigid, and quite close-minded, not really, just head down and just doing my job and pushing forward. And to go from that shift to, you know, even as little as 12 months ago, that was still me, to being this, develop into this person that I am now, where I'm able to share like this and be comfortable and confident in who I am. And, you know, I've been through a lot to get to this point, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been the best.
Can I just ask one last question just to finish this off, because I actually think that's very, very interesting. Your wife's perspective, in the sense that has it improved your relationship, the personal growth that you have been through, and all of this SFM thing? How have it affected in general other parts of, or other areas of your life?
Yeah, it's definitely been the best, you know, our family and home life's ever been. Particularly, the biggest shift has been me getting away from a stressful job that was not healthy for myself, and it, you know, inherently you end up bringing that home into the household, and that has its effect. But just to be able to be, for me to be able to feel like I'm doing what I want to be doing and what I really enjoy doing, which is the first time I've been able to say that in a very long time. And for her to be able to see that in me, she's loved. But now, you know, after only a little while working my way through the modules and obviously sharing what I was learning with her, she's starting to think, hang on, maybe this isn't just a business for you, you know, maybe this is a family business. And that's sort of where we're up to now, is that, we're sort of moving towards her moving away from her job and scaling back that job to the point where potentially she won't work either. So well, not in a traditional job, she'll work with me on the business. So, and that's the ultimate goal, right? Because then we've got the full geographical freedom that I really got into this for, because, you know, like you guys, we're not then tied to anywhere for anything. So yeah, and we've got massive travel plans and huge dreams that we want to live, and this is going to be the facilitator for that, and that's an exciting thing, and that just keeps driving us forward. And probably the biggest struggle at the moment is that for my wife to get up every morning and go to her job, knowing that it's it's not going to be forever, and that she'd rather be doing what we're doing in the business. We're not at that point yet, but it's definitely on the horizon. So that's going to be an exciting time that we get to both move into the business, and both obviously got very different skill sets and different things to bring.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Big project ahead.
That sounds
excited to hear
this.
Yeah, me too.
Watch this
great
space.
Stuff.
Yeah.
That's great.
Absolutely.
That's very, very nice. So Simon has been amazing. Thank you so much for opening up and sharing your journey with us and our members. Do you have anything to say?
Especially the last part, very emotional, I would say. I really like the fact that you are bringing your wife into it and potentially change the old prospect of a family business that is run on itself anywhere in the world. Being with your kids full time, this will actually be a dream for many of us in this world, I think. So it is really something that we are also, this is another reason why we are here, because I want to prepare myself to give enough stability to my future family. So it is important that I will have still my own, I'm my own boss, and I can choose for myself whether I want to earn that amount of money, and what I can do with this money to give the best to my family, to my wife and to my kids, in a normal house where you can have everything you want inside, all your big dreams that becomes to reality, and where you connect the most important thing for me, which is love and family.
So. Absolutely. And something you just touched on there that I want to just quickly expand on, that I think is that next generation, right? Like I look at my children and I think, when we're going to get to our business to this point where mum and dad are working on the business and it's a family business, and the kids are obviously going to see that and grow up with that. And I think everyone can relate to when you're a child being told that your dreams might be a bit too big or a bit unrealistic, or, that sounds nice, but maybe just be a bit more realistic about things. But that's something I will never put on my children, because I now know that anything is possible. If your dream can be as big as you want, but if you're willing to back yourself and really go for it, you can make it happen. So yeah, I think the next generation, our children, my children, your children, and anyone else that goes down this path, the prospects that our kids are going to have that are going to be way outside of the go to school, get a good job, and work the rest of your life until you can retire. That all goes out the window, and suddenly it becomes, well, what are your passions? What are your interests? What do you want to be doing with your life? Go do it. And then,
big,
let money come as a result.
Powerful thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Massive.
What beautiful way to finish this webinar.
Yes.
With into the future and the next generation. But it's so right on that. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yes.
Very, very good.
Okay, Simon. Well, thank you is not enough. It's an absolutely pleasure to spend this time with you and sharing your path that help us and all the people that are listening. I'm gonna watch this. So this is a wrap.
Yeah, I guess it's a wrap. If any people watching this webinar is having any questions either to us or to Simon, then Simon is in our group, so you can just tag him and ask him any questions. I'm sure that you will be able to answer that, right, Simon?
Absolutely, happy to.
Absolutely, great. Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Simon.
Good chat. Thanks.
Thank you so much. See you on the next, whenever it will be. Take care. Bye.
Bye.